You see, it all came about, this dish. I was just thinking because I had some cauliflower. And I went from cauliflower to potato. Then I remembered we had some smoked haddock in the freezer that you bought when you bought your kippers. This one. Oops. Just dropped some cheese. Jaffes. So you have your Jaffes kippers, don't you? And you bought some of this smoked haddock. So that's how I kind of thought about what I do with this dish. That's how it's come about.
So
I don't
in
really
there
yes.
is cauliflower and potato.
Yeah, so it's kind of...
So how does the fish get involved?
I just thought gratin. It's minus million degrees out there. It's a north wind howling through the country. It's Baltic. The beastie from the Eastie is here. It's freezing, freezing. Went up, where did we go up the hill today? 700 foot above sea level. Can I just say how cold it was out there? My nose has not recovered. It's still very cold. It's my yardstick on how cold I am. It's how cold my nose is. Anyway, I'm cold. So I thought gratin. Really cheeky and a bit naughty, but it's the sort of thing that you have when you've just come off ski slopes if you ever go skiing, which I don't since 1976.
But what's good, there's no fat in this dish, is there?
There's no fat at all. Cream and cheese, no fat. It's ever so good for you. It's got carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And the vegetable as well. There's some vegetables in there, so it's really good for you. Oh, come on, it's freezing out there. You need a bit of a rib sticker, don't you? Is that right? Sticky ribs? Oh, something like that. Anyway, what I've got in here is cream. I found it in the back of the fridge. So this is clotted cream that you bought in a bottle from the local village store, didn't you? Which, a really cute little bottle, which is, it's like, was it the end of the year? Because it's been heat treated. So it's fine in that bottle, so it's been back in the fridge. But then we also had some single cream, so I thought I'd put a bit of that in as well. Because I can. So a little bit of single, just to sort of let down the clotted cream. That's the idea here. Right, so I'm going to tell you what I've done so far. I cut up a cauliflower and I cut up 2 potatoes and peeled them. I only peeled them because the skin on these were a bit, it didn't look very nice. They're very old potatoes. So I peeled them. Generally I would leave the skin on. But I tossed them in a tiny bit of olive oil, watching the fat content obviously. Funny. Toss them a bit of olive oil and bung them in the oven 180 for 40 minutes, okay? So the potatoes are softened and those cauliflower florets have got they're a bit singed, which I love. That just adds more flavour, okay? So let's add a little bit of background sort of charred notes to this. And then this is really simple. So you
burned?
No, charred. Kissed by the cooker. Like most of my cooking. Yeah, so I'm just going to mix together the cream here and the single cream together. And then I'm going to put into that about 5 spring onions and also a leek from the garden. Okay, it's just a small leek. Say nothing about my leeks.
Which resemble spring onions.
My leeks have not been a great success this year. I normally have walloping leeks, but they do resemble spring onions this year. So next year it's going to be very successful. Anyway, so I'm just going to put those in, okay? Now, next, in my cauliflower potato.
Spend a lot of money, or you can spend a lot of money in Marks and Spencer's for baby vegetables, so, you know, baby leeks.
You just can't help yourself, can you? Right. I don't know what happened to my leeks. They were just terrible this year. It's really odd. Anyway, this smoked haddock's great because it's been well prepared, so I don't actually have any skin on it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut, because it's not cooked. It's at the moment. Well, it's smoked, but I haven't cooked it. I'm just going to cut it into little pieces and dot that, okay, amongst the potato and the cauliflower. Okay. So the idea is you just have one pot, okay, as well. Not 2 pots, just 1 pot. So therefore you're not having to do so much washing up. Some other ones anyway. This is lovely, this. Now this is quite salty, smoked haddock. So you're not going to need much, if any, salt anywhere else in this dish, because you've got cheese going on there as well. So that's salty in its own right. So I just wouldn't bother putting any salt in this at all.
You were thinking of putting capers in there, weren't you?
I was, and then I decided not to, because I thought I'm going to stick with the acidity from the onions, really, and the leek. So I thought I'd just go with that, and just simpler is better. So,
Then it would have really been saltish.
yeah, it's been very, very salty then, wouldn't it? Been over salty. There we go. So let's just put that, so it's kind of sitting on top of my little nest of potato and cauliflower. Okay. So this is really, it's actually very, very simple. There's virtually no sort of cooking skill required, really. It's more just assembly. You'd be good at that, wouldn't you?
I was just about to say, right up your street then.
Yeah, right up my street. Right, next. Now I've got some cheese here. I've got some of this lovely
I
corn.
thought you were putting the cheese on, baking it, and then putting the fish on it.
No. I'm putting the cheese, the cream, the cheese, and then baking it. Alright, so I've got a mixture here. There's cheddar and gouda, Cornish gouda, which we bought the other day. So I'm just going to mix it all together. Now, gruyere. Lovely. Gruyere would be wonderful in this as well. Alright, so just pile the cheese in there. Okay, like that.
What's a few extra pounds on the waistline during lockdown?
I mean, we're all in stretchy clothes, aren't we? Don't go out. Haven't worn anything structured for a very long time. Nothing. Elasticated waist. Actually, I have jeans on today. But yeah, there's, you know, we've got some good exercise today in the cold. Okay, we were out there for a little while and it was very cold and we got some exercise. So I think this is fine. And how often do we do double cream in our food? Rarely.
True.
Rarely. We really don't. I'm just doing it for everybody out there because I just think we all deserve a treat. So now this is just a case of blobbing this mixture over the top, okay? So it kind of go down all those little crevices and melt down nicely. It does smell very nice, this actually, doesn't it?
Could you do this dish without smoked fish? Could you do it with salmon?
I was just about to say, actually, if you don't have smoked haddock, smoked mackerel, you can buy the flake smoked mackerel, that would go very well in here as well. If you wanted to add some dill in there as well, that's quite nice. I know you don't like dill, so I didn't put it in. You could use smoked salmon, you could also use fresh salmon as well. Why not? You could also just use ham. If you don't want to put fish in it, you could use a little bit of ham dotted in through it as well. Chicken? I mean, it's a gratin, really. As long as a gratin is basically covering whatever is underneath it in a good deal of cheese and cream, really. So you could gratin anything within reason. Okay, so a little bit of black pepper. I'm not going to bother with the salt, as I said. We've got enough in there. And then the rest of the cheese plonked on top. And then I'm going to put this into a 200-degree oven, okay, and cook it for as long as it takes. I really don't know because I haven't really done this like this before, so we'll have to see. Choose your thing with me. And maybe just a little bit of parmesan, just already grated, because you can. Okay. Now, this is going to bubbly down, and it's going to be a lovely, bubbling, beautiful, lovely, delicious supper. Okay. I'm going to put it in the oven now. Bubbly, bubbly, bubbly gratin. Do you know what I did when you weren't looking? I put the rest of the single cream in because I wanted to have a bit more saucy, and I didn't think there was enough saucy, so I'll put more in. And now I'm going to try this with the leeks. Where's that haddock? Always a nice bit of the fishy. Lovely, Do you think it looks nice?
It looks lovely.
It smells amazing. I mean, you can't go wrong really with cheese and cream, can you? Nice bit dairy. Well, I'm lost for words, really. I think this is absolutely blooming spectacular. You know, it actually doesn't taste that rich. What's really nice is that roasted cauliflower. Just gives it a little edge. I mean, you know, we're not going to eat this between us, are we, the whole lot? It's probably about 4 portions here.
Give it a good go.
Oh, we'll give it a good go. But, you know, it'd be silly to eat it all because it is very rich, but actually, once in a while, doesn't matter, does it? So, very hot. Very hot. Give it a go. It's my, what was it from? What is it? What's it called?
It's called smoked haddock gratin.
Well, smoked haddock gratin. Well, smoked haddock, cauliflower, potato and leek gratin. How about that?
With a lot of cheese and cream.
With a mountain of cheese and most of the double cream, single cream that we could find. Now, actually, I was going to say, if you don't want to use, very quickly, if you don't want to use single cream and the cottage cream, because that's what we had in the fridge, creme fraiche, go with that. Half a pint of. Lovely.